Hi, babe. This is, in some ways pointless, but we were just texting. Maybe I'll do another. Okay, here's the thing. We went to Starbucks with Paul to escape Rochelle. Well, I mean, for Paul, it was not an escape. It was like just to get coffee. And, I hustled Poppy out the door and we followed him. And, you know, she's sleeping up late. But last night, we have this thing where when we're done with screen time, we take away her pad. Basically, when we're done with Dark Shadows, we put her to bed at midnight, and we lock her up at midnight. But we tend to like talk until 1, and then watch like 2 or 3 episodes, although they're very short. Anyway, it's like late that she gets her iPad taken away, and then she has to draw and like settle herself down. It takes a long time, and I don't know what time she goes to sleep because I'm asleep. So last night we were like, you can't sleep in the bathtub because Rochelle's coming, and you can't sleep in Anna's bed because Rochelle's coming, so you're gonna need to sleep with us on the pad. And you know, she's wild, and she fell asleep for like 10 minutes coming home from Grandma's, because Grandma has this little bike. It's like a piece of shit hand-me-down, but Poppy, with training wheels, but Poppy is like all about it now, and I guess so she's very active at Grandma's, and she dozed off. It wasn't a long doze, like a nap that would interrupt her sleep. It was like right before we got home, but I was like, she's tired. The second we walk into the house, she's bouncing up the walls. So, okay, so it's like, you know, you can't sleep in the tub or whatever. So we bring her into our room, and like, this is when Paul would read to me, and you know, we were like, you can draw while Daddy reads, but then it's gonna be lights out. And she couldn't shut up. She was like just jumping and throwing stuffed animals around, and we had to keep telling her to stop and to calm down. And I felt very tense, not angry, just like. And when it came time for the lights to come off, she ran out of the room, and she was running all over the house. So I called to her, and I was like, Poppy, like not in a mean way. She's like, what? And I was like, come here. And she did. She came here, and in the dark, I was in the dark, and I was like, come snuggle with me. And she did. She like got under the covers with me, and she was really wiggly for a while. You know, I don't know. It wasn't like an unbearable amount of time. And then she went to sleep. And it was just like the old days when I would lay her down until she fell asleep. And so I feel like we could live that way again, get it going earlier. If Paul and I, you know, just get her locked up at like 10 instead of 11 or whatever. Like, just, we were trying to do that, but like bring it down. Bring her into my room, or if God forbid she starts sleeping in her bed again, or your bed, whatever. And then, but what I'm afraid of is that even though I think she really likes snuggling with me and sleeping between us, she won't ever choose that because she likes the like freedom to stay up all night. She'll choose the fucking bathtub over, because she's in total control. I mean, even if we like turn the light out and went to bed, she'd turn the light back on. Or she would sneak out and go to another part of the house. I mean, she has many ways that she could evade us if we're at bedtime level. So I'm just trying to fix this without seeming too drastic and I don't know, punitive. Okay, so then we go to the Starbucks, and she's like really floppy, and she's like, I'm so tired, because I woke her up at 11:30. She probably fell asleep at 3. So I didn't say anything preachy, like, wow, she went to bed earlier. But I noticed it. And Paul left, And we finished up, and then we went toward the car, and she was like, I'm so tired, can I just lay down before we go anywhere? And I kind of felt tired, and I was like, all right, we can chill in the car until you're ready to leave. And she rested for like 2 seconds, and then she came up to the front, and she was playing with stuff, and we were talking, and it was fine. I didn't care. It was just like nice, actually. And then I looked in my purse I pulled my phone out just to look at the time. Her iPad was in my purse, and all of a sudden she's like, what else is in there? And I was like, your iPad. And she's like became obsessed, and she was like, we better get home, like right away. I'll buckle myself in. So I was like, because I don't remember how I started it. I was like, so you just urgently want to go home because of the iPad? She's like, no, I was ready. I was going to tell you that I was ready to go home anyway. And I was like, why? I was like, why don't you tell me the truth? I was like, it's better to tell the truth to me, to be honest. And she's like, what does honest mean? And I was like, it's like the truth. When you tell me the truth, you're being honest. She's like, I'm being honest. And I was like, well, from what I could tell, we were talking, and you were playing with little toys that are up here, and were mellow. And then as soon as you saw my phone, you thought of the iPad, and you became obsessed, and now you're obsessing about it and trying to get us to go home. Or, like, she's actually in the car right now. We've been home for 10 minutes. She won't get out of the car. So I don't even know why she had to go home. Or all she wanted was the iPad. And I kept, like, not like psychotically, but I was just like, why won't you tell me how you really feel? Like, I want to know how you really feel. I think I do know how you really feel because of the way you're acting and the behavior change. And she said something like, she was like, my feelings aren't your feelings. And I was like, that's true. Everybody has their own feelings. I was like, I want to know your real feelings. And I can see how it went. And I want you to tell me. You're telling me I'm wrong, but that feels wrong. And then finally I was like, maybe it's because you're 6 and you're just not ready for this level of, I don't know, communication. Or she's like, it's not because I'm 6. I knew this when I was 5. And I really don't know developmentally, like, I don't know. Isn't 7 supposed to be some significant year of huge mind growth and consciousness and stuff? Or is that some made up, old, outdated psychiatrist, psychologist stuff from the 1950s or something? I don't know. I guess that's all that's on my mind. Do you know about the tongue thing with Poppy, the tick? You must have seen it when you were here. It's really creeping me out. And also last night, which was a typical night, she was very, very wired and manic. And just like, I told Paul, I was like, this past winter when I was a slug and we didn't even go out or do anything and she watched videos all day, you would tell me like and then she'd be bouncing off the walls. You would say she didn't have enough activity. But on a day where she has constant activity with you, Paul, or like playing in the park, or, I mean, just active, she's still bouncing off the walls at night. And I was like, it seems really intense, and I feel like this could be a problem, like a psychological, physiological, and I was like, it could be our fault because of what we've let her slip into, like this nighttime madness. And he was like, well, he's like, she's always had a lot of energy. And I was like, yes, but the energy now at night is very edgy. It's intense. It's her body, when you touch her body, it feels like tense. And she's rude. She'll spit. She will, she makes angry faces. She's picked up a lot of obnoxious tones and words from her videos and whatever, like snotty, like snotty shit. I won't get into right now, but you can imagine. And I was like, I think like, and he was like, she's always been intense. And I was like, I feel a change. And he was like, well, she's growing. And I was like, I feel a personality change. And I was like, you know, Logan, that's Kevin and Eileen's daughter. I was like, she's always been a mellow, calm person, baby, toddler, child. She's 8 years old now. She's had kind of a consistent personality. And I'm sure she and Eileen have had their bad days and tantrums or whatever, but has always talked about how like serene she is compared to their older son Luke. I don't expect Poppy to be Logan, but it's Logan's consistency. Like her personality is her personality and doesn't get ruffled much. And with Poppy, I'm seeing like spikes, and she doesn't get depressed. I haven't seen depression, but it's spiky. And I don't know. I kind of want to like start limits on the pad and taking it away more to experiment and to see if she chills out, and see if, but that she's in love with it. Last night she was kissing it. So I don't know if it's just the bad influence of too much screen time, which the homeschool community that I follow is like, if you like just let them have it, they will self-regulate. And it's not, you know, ever since like the television was invented, people have like panicked about like TV is going to rot their brains, and as technology is advanced, there's always this like panic. And so just chill out about it, and they will self-regulate. I'm not seeing self-regulation. It's been months. And how long does it take? And like, at what price? So I don't know. I don't know how to handle like the switch if we're gonna do that, like pulling back from use of it. Anyway, so I was like, Paul, there's been a change, a personality change. I kept saying that, and he was like, what do you want to do? Medication? Therapy? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. I think we could start with curbing the iPad and see if there's a behavioral change to a calmer person. And then I was like, look, when I was a kid, they called me intense and dramatic. And I was intense and dramatic, and I didn't sleep. And I was a clown. I was always like trying to clown with people, like what? I don't know. I'm different from her. Like, I didn't have iPad. Like, I see a lot of myself in her lately. I used to see more Paul in her. She used to be calmer. And so I'm seeing that, and it's alarming because of what I turned into. And so I'm like, okay, I was like,